Good morning. Welcome to the world of conscious positive thinking with MJ, where your thoughts become your power and your mindset becomes your compass. MJ is here to guide you through a journey of self-awareness, emotional mastery, and empowered living.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Yeah, man. Just feel it. Let it flow. Peace and love in the air, you know. Woke up with the sun on my face. Breathing deep in this holy space. Feeling good, no need to race. The rhythm of life moves at its pace. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky. Love in our hearts, no need to ask why. Dance with the trees, sing with the breeze. The world of conscience puts the mind at ease. Colors swirl in my open mind. Truth and joy in the thoughts I find. A smile's the cure, a word's the key. Positive thinking sets you free. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the world of conscious positive thinking. It is a beautiful May 11th, 2026, and we are here on the Military Broadcast Radio. You might find us at mbradio.us, MBR Talk. We are also now on, I just had it in my head and I can't, Pluto TV. There it is. Pluto TV with Roku TV and Amazon Prime. We're on almost every streaming venue out there that you can find, and we are so delighted, and we welcome everybody here this morning. And who remembers Dr. Seuss out there? And the little book, it was a little hardback book, it says, "Are you my mother?" It was a little bird that went to, like, if you don't know the thing, the mom bird went away when the little bird hatched, but the mom bird went to go feed the bird. So then it went to the nest, it went to another type of bird, and it went to a tree, then it went to a big bulldozer. It went all over looking for its mother. And then he finally finds his mother, that nourishing, that compassionate mother. And it's such a beautiful book. And I know last week I said on here, you know, I think it'd be a good thing if, you know, we, if we just this time around do, like, because Friday is my second anniversary air date on MBR. So this Monday, I was going to just register everything. I was just going to review the year. And since I had one more spot to finish my year, how blessed is it that we go to Mother and Mother's Day? So happy Mother's Day to every single one of you mothers out there. And you know what? We're going to get really deep into what is a mother and what embodies the energy of a mother and why we celebrate. And anyway, we're going to get to all that. But I want you to really think about your mom. I want you to contemplate of your dynamics of energy from when you were born. Always, who is your security? That's right, your mom. And then you move into some eras in your life where you're right. I can't stand my mom, right? She was telling me what to do. And then we move into going, oh my God, now what? And you call your mom. So there are emotional roller coasters that go along with being a mom with children, right? I was always taught Don't worry, your child loves you. But at some point, they'll nicely just cut your chest open. And then at some point, they just don't cut your chest. They take and they squeeze your heart. And then that's not good enough. So they rip it out. They throw it on the ground, stomp on the mom's heart. And then all of a sudden, they're like crying. What did I do? They pick it back up and now they're the nourisher. And then they put it back in and they slowly close it. And now they realize, wow, you are my mom, right? It is that energetics that we look at mothering figures all over the world. And I understand there's a huge debacle right now in our world. You know, what's female, feminine energy, and where does it belong, and how we're going to get to all of that. But today, however, it's a however, today of all days, we are going to dig deep, real deep, and we are going to figure out why I had such unhealing towards my mom, whether she was absent in your life, whether you say I loathe her. And there's a lot of people out there that dislike their mother. However, disliking your mom, that's right. She gave you life. She gave you that breath of air. So whether she has unhealing attachments, both of you together, we're going to get into those. It's okay. But we need to honor, because it is only the feminine uterus, and it is only by a womb can a child be born. Yep, I understand science. Ooh, yay, science. You know, can clone animals and humans now, right? Now I think they're playing God, and I don't believe it. There's always a time and a purpose for every creation that God has ever made in the millennias on this life and on this planet, right? Could you imagine living today with a Tyrannosaurus Rex just chewing up people? It would take 1,000 people a meal just to satisfy him. 1,000 people just gone. So there's always a time and place, right? So we're not going to do anything else besides our what's today? Our May 11th, 2026. We have to do this, right? It's just part of our routine. Woo! Okay. So today, May the 11th, 2026. The resulting number is a 6. It is an important time to nurture yourself on all levels. Eating healthy food, drinking ample water, sleeping well will assist you to maintain a healthy body. Creating a peaceful ambience will also nurture your soul. The angels recommend bringing harmony to your environment with beautiful flowers, music, and crystals. Angel power word today is originality. Isn't that amazing? Originality. How many, our mothers, just like us, are so original in their teachings and their balance and their alignments and how we raise and what they shelter us from, but what they expose us to. Like a mother's teachings, and I'm going to use the word compassion for their children, goes beyond an energy that anybody could recollect. So originality, what a powerful word. All right, so the angel number also contains number 51. It's an important time to remember that there is only one of you in this world. You bring the world original and innate beautiful qualities. The angels don't want you to fit in. They want you to stand out for all the right reasons. You bring a dimension to the world, and I don't even believe that you realize it. You are part of all that is, and you are part of a balancing equation. Remember how important you are. Just as your fingerprints are unique to you, you and your gifts, talents, and brilliance are unique to the world. Angel number also contains the number 26. We know that one, right? Because we get it a lot since we're in the year 26. The angels know that you feel empowered when you feel compassion for others. It's all about compassion. That's right. They now ask that you feel the same compassion for yourself. It is very important that you say no to requests that make you feel uneasy. Trust that these sensations are your body, these are your inner compass. So trust in them. We had that trust episode last week. We need to trust. That's a trust in spirituality, and it's always a blessed thing. Your number also contains the number 11. The number 11 is a master number. It refers to the equality of male and female energies, the yin and yang energies, and the angels that ask you to reflect on your life and to make changes that will bring harmony and balance. This may refer to your work, rest, and play, your emotions and thoughts, and your spiritual grounding. Now it's time to balance the scales. Angel number today has another number. It contains the number 12. It is now time to ask your angels to show you the complete picture. Angels, please. That's all you have to do. Angels, please. Show me my path. Show me my journey. Show me where that door is opening for my next event going forward. Right. And when you do so, the angels will deliver with great knowledge on the finer details regarding any situation that you may have. Archangel Michael is also around you, giving you the strength to stand up and just be yourself. Okay. Woo. Angel numbers. I love to look at angel numbers first thing in the morning. For some reason, it just makes me happy. And I love to be happy. So when I'm happy, the world is happy within itself. Okay. So Mother's Day, what did you do on Mother's Day? How was it? Did you have fun with your mom? Were you able to go out and either cook her a beautiful meal, sit with her? Did she say, I just want peace? Right? You always find the young moms who have the babies who are pulling their hair out and they're very unrested and they're very like, oh, I'll never make it through. Why can't they be older? And then all of a sudden they do get older and they're like, what happened to my baby? Is that the emotional, hormonal, confused mom? Been there. I've been there. I've been there to where you're just like, oh my God, can it just go stop? Can it stop? Just go away. I'm tired. My one child slept beautifully, but my other child, she didn't sleep so beautifully. Every 2 hours we had to feed her for 2 straight years. It was exhausting. But you love something so much that you just have to do what you need to do, right? Your mother's service to others. I have to tell you, my husband was a great father for those children. He loved them that's my ex-husband. He loved those children with compassion. And he really, I could not have asked for a better father, nourishing those kids in the first 2 years, 3 years. He was right there. He was right there changing the diapers, helping, feed, even though I was trying to breastfeed. He was just right there, being the legs because I was in a wheelchair. So he really did a lot for the children. So remember that even though we talk about Mother's Day and Father's Day is coming, so we're going to do that one too, but there is that connection. I don't want to leave. I know it's a Mother's Day special and our fathers are going to have one in June too. But I don't want anybody to walk away going, wow, you left out the dad. Never, ever. I think father figures to show both energies, feminine energy and male energies is extremely important. And I also believe that I have a really good friend, and I say it all the time to my friends, family, her, the way she brought up her son, her main goal was to have a child born with Christian faith and to understand women. Coming out of baby boomer Gen X time frame, that's hard. There wasn't such it was a struggle. I'm going to tell you, I struggled as a female in the military and right into the fishing and hunting industry. Feminine energy was just still not 100%. It's good now, but it wasn't back then. And so being a mom figure, trying to understand that male emotional side that was so rough. He is a beautiful boy, married, believe he has a beautiful job. He is the epitome of what I like. When I look at that, I was like, mother, well done. Mother, your job was well done. And I often and now she gave up her life. There you go. A mother. She gave up a lot of things to take him to whatever sports that he was doing, whatever outside event. And she tried to expose him to so many different things and allowed him to pick. Not you picking as the parent, allowing the child to, oh, I think this is great. And allowing a safe smash space, not that everything gets to be smashed and broken, right? So she created that balance at a very, very young age. And you see it in today. And he's part of the Gen Zs, right? He is, and he's beautiful. And I look with so much awe in her journey with her son, that every time it comes to Mother's Day, besides my own mother, how she nourished us into allowing us our freedom and yet our balance, it still can happen today. The problem is there's too many parents out there, as my friend with her beautiful son would call, that's enough brain sucker time. And that was videos or constant. There's so many people now who try to silence a child or whatever with videos. They put videos on for the child so that they can have a minute, or they put them in their crib so that they don't cry and gives them more minutes, or they just shut the door and let them cry and saying, I need my time. I'm not so sure about these things, because when I see a reflection of an example, and then I see another example. So now I have a grandparent example. I have a mother example. I have a friend example. And then I know what I did with my own children, things that worked and didn't work, right? So, yeah, we don't have a baby that comes with instructions anymore. Freud tried parenting, dummy guides to parenting. I know they're out there. But I'm going to tell you, it comes from your heart. Those 12 petals around that heart chakra, I'm going to tell you, that's what makes a mom. It does. Protection. That would be a frequency, right? Courage, pride. These are all frequencies mothers have, right? Acknowledging, loving, compassion, trusting, right? These are the nourishments that a mother gives. Masculine energy, when I grew up, and even still a little bit today, the guys are more in your face, right? That. Some people say that was me. I had a lot of masculine energy. There's my block. Don't touch it. There's my line. Don't touch it. I'm still kind of that way. My convictions of my boundaries, right? I always say, as my mother, like my daughter, she tries to tell me a story. But when I already know the people involved and I've worked with these same people, her comment to me, because she'll get going and I get good. I'm real good in the counselor, spiritual teacher, and the understanding and taking back. And then she goes and goes and goes, and it hits like that 40-minute mark. And now here comes Mama Bear. You're doing that to my kid. I will take you out. Okay, that has to get healed, MJ. That protection persona of a mom, that has to be, we have to somehow be okay with them having to learn their own way. They have to learn, how they're going to move around. And my gosh, my daughter's 30? But that mama bear instinct of, okay, I am a patriot. I am a military soldier. I am a warrior of God. I am a spiritual believer of God light. And yet my voice was, I'll take you out. That's that mama bear. I know. And then it mixes with the military side. And then I get a huge flashback, right? That's right. So now here's that dieback. So now as I keep moving through my life, I keep trying to go, Mama, you step back. It's their life. These are their choices. These are the events. These are their life lessons. You can't keep fixing these children, even though they don't want to. They're not asking you to fix them. So why do we feel as mothers that we have to fix it? That's very deep. That's very deep. That's very that's just deep. That's just deep, you know? And then you hear the child going, yeah, okay, so now that's your mama bear coming out, and I'm not going to say that. So thank God that child has a little common sense just to understand where her mother is like, oh, I will take you out. She goes, but don't worry. She goes, if I ever feel dangerous, she goes, I am running to you. She goes, because I know you'd be the tank to plow them over. I go, that's right. That's right. So I always want them to have that feel of safety. My arms are still open for safety. I understand you're a beautiful grown adult and you're going to be 31 and the other one's going to be 34. And time is ticking. So go back to the mom who wants just peace. Just take the kids. I just want peace. Here's a mom 30 something years later going, oh, I wish I could just have my family here. I just want my family. I just want my kids. I just want my grandbabies. I just want to have a unit, right? Even if it's a day, I just want to have that unit. I heard that. I heard that out of my own mother's mouth. This house, it's a beautiful big house, but there's no life in it. I go, you are the life in it. She goes, no, it's not what I mean. Well, happy Mother's Day, Mom, because at least two of your daughter, the two daughters, the son is in Mexico, but he couldn't make it. But we were there for you. With your son-in-laws, we got to have fun. We got to have some drinks. We got to have your baked goods. You got to dance. You got to sing. You got to play miniature golf. You got to do exactly what you wanted to. And we did your gardening for you. Let's not forget. Right? So it always works out. It always works out when you pray upon something. So, and don't forget, I want to do this before we really get into it hot and heavy here. Your mom had many parties at her house. Your mom had many events for your siblings, for your own grandparents, parties. It didn't have to be a holiday on a calendar, right? It could be birthdays. It could be anniversaries. There was a time when when I grew up, everybody's had a day. So it was almost like there was so much going on with all the grandkids having their day, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncle. I mean, it was like we had party after party after party after party after party. And as a teenager, I was snotty going, I don't want to go. My friends are going to the thing. I want to go over there. Do we have any whiners in your house now as a mother who are like, you're going to your grandparents' house whether you like it or not? Honor. You kids out there, if you're listening, kids won't be listening, but it's an honoring, and you find out how much you miss, right? I told my mom, I go to Berwick, and every time I pass my grandmother's house in Berwick with her to go to a bakery that we buy cheeses, and it's like Italian bakeries, I can smell her grapes. Those Concord grapes, you just go past the house and you can smell. It's like a memory that you just sat there and popped the grapes in your mouth, you know. We weren't my grandfather, who's the Italian winemaker, with those grapes. But man, it was so tasty, those beautiful Concord grapes. So these are memories. Even though I fought it, I didn't want to. I would be with my friend, right? I would be with my friend. You're not going to be my friend no more if I don't go. Do we hear those things today? Because it is just those things as a mom that they remember. Moms remember the handprint. How many there you go. How many of your moms out there still have your turkey handprint, right? There's the turkey, the feathers. You had to color them. I think that was kindergarten or first grade. My mom, she still has those. She brought out this weekend a book from Girl Scout camp back in the 70s. But she also, however, she also had her 4-H from 1956 because she loves songs. She was always playing guitar and piano and whatever. She brought him out. She goes, look what I found. Oh my goodness. There were so many songs in that old 4-H in 1956. There were so many songs that I remember today, like Sarah Sponda. Most people don't even remember Sarah Sponda. I remember it. So I took some pictures out of her little book because I don't know if everybody knows, but I got a steel pan as a Mother's Day thing. So I'm trying to learn. So I thought, oh, that would be so nice to be able to know the notes to the keys so that I could put in Sarah Sponda or put in, the green grass or whatever the song that I took with the music. So I'm very happy and I can't wait to see if they turn out right. But only a mom would have those memories, right? My mom for Christmas, she will be 85 this year, and June 21st, we will have a beautiful celebration of her life. And you never believe she's like, I'm not getting old. And she doesn't. She couldn't, everybody else is old but her. And she does not let that grass grow. And it doesn't matter if she has back pain, knee pain. She's going. She's like, no, grass isn't growing under my feet yet. So the strength, the power that she promotes with health and vitality and growth is an example for my sister and I to go, and there it is. She doesn't stop. Well, one of the things my mom has said since I came back from my 3-month little gypsy tour is about her home, about wanting life in her home and so I told my husband, I'm going to do as much as I can to allow her to cook. She loves to bake. But when she bakes, she has to either drive it to my house or my sister's house, or she's always to my her niece's house, cousins, whatever. But she misses the camaraderie at her own home. So guess what, Mommy? You plan your parties and I'll make sure that I am there. And I will bring smiles, I'll bring food, and I'll bring whatever it is. I understand that loneliness. I understand when your children are just a bit away. I didn't understand it for a long time because at 18, I went away. And I hadn't come back for 40 years. That's a long time. I get that. So think about your mama. And I pray that you did the right thing for your mama. And look at Observation Monday, right? Anything happens on a Sunday, we always have to observe it on a Monday. So here we are observing Mother's Day on a Monday. And it is beautiful in my eyes. And I like that. So you know what? We're going to take a really quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to dig in. What is a mother? What is a mother? Do we have to be worried? What is a mother? Anyway, so I hope you enjoy. I'm going to play the songs again that I played last week. So they're all about 2 minutes. So get your water, get your coffee, take a pee break, and we will be right back.
Peace, love, light. Let your soul rise. Wake up, beautiful child of the sun. Your journey of truth has already begun. Thoughts are the seeds, so plant them kind. The garden of heaven lives in your mind. Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eyesight. Tune into the light. MJ whispers in waves of sound. Messages rising from sacred ground. Words like incense drift through the air. You are divine, be fully aware. Tune into the light, let
breath is prayer. You are the healer you've been waiting for.
Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eyesight. Tune into the light.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. You're giving veterans a voice today. Powered by WorkSimple, where we simplify your mission.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
Okay, welcome back. We are discussing what is a mother, or are you my mother? So that's the story today. So by definition, what is a mother? A mother is a female parent. It's someone who gives birth to, raises, and cares for a child. That, if you look up in Webster, that is the definition that you're going to receive. The term can have a few related meanings in today's world, depending on context, right? So biological mother, let's start with that one. Our biological mother is the woman whose eggs created the child and who typically carries the pregnancy. I don't know of any man who has a womb. Now, there is a womb space in men, which is why their fallopian tubes and their eggs are on the outside, where ours are right here by our uterus. Okay, so our eggs have to go into the uterus. So biological mother means one of a uterus who can implant and give birth. So adopted or a foster mother, now that's a mother who raises children, but is not a biological relative or related any way, shape, or form. These might possibly be people who love children and cannot have them for themselves, or had such an awful pregnancy that they wanted to adopt their next one. They wanted to show that motherly instinct. There are people out there, God bless them, who can't have children. However, there are so many babies who need a loving mother to nurture it with compassion and truth and just resistance of life, and show them the way that these are beautiful people, service to others, and major heart opening. And then we go to either a social or nurturing role. Okay, so sometimes a mother doesn't make it, so that father figure needs to come in and create these nurturing roles. Or maybe the mother as the child, such as my aunt died when my cousins were very young, right? They're 9 years old, 7 years old. They're extremely young children. And my other aunt died and they were maybe 12. I mean, such impersonable times of a child's life to understand in cognitive thinking and in morals and going forward in life, that sometimes that energy gets stored somewhere else. And you can see that a lot of times in some of these now adults when they've lost their mother. You can see that in adolescence. You can see that in young adulthood, where they are more masculine energy, more cut, more curt. Sometimes their social behaviors don't quite add up. And it's very possible However, these people who for social or nurturing rule, they do their best. And the best foot forward is the best honoring. So I don't want it to belittle. I'm just saying these would be these types of people looking for that mom role. They're more broadly, and anyone who provides care, guidance, and support in that mother-like way. So some of them were reaching out. Aunts became mother figures. Grandparents became mother figures. Dads became both roles, uncles, cousins, to raise different ideologies. But that's hard too, because think about a 12-year-old who've already learned some of the patterns of the mom. And now another mom comes in and it's like, what are you doing? Well, mom, no. Well, no. Don't change what a mother who has crossed, don't unteach it. I understand, like, that's hard for me. That's hard. I'm assuming that was hard for my cousins as well. And it's hard for anybody, to try to unteach something that man's teachings install within our first, for our first 5 years of life. It's an installment. We are conditioned. We talk about this all the time, how we have to uncondition our minds, our judgments, and our egos of some of the things that don't exist today. Some of the things that existed in the 60s and 70s. I don't need that to be an enforcement, so I remove it, right? It's a learned practice. It's a trained practice, but we still have to learn how to remove these obstacles. And they're very prominent, Men used to be the rulers of the house, the monies, they did everything, while the woman just tended to the insides of the house and the children and the education part, and sometimes that's how it worked. The discipline was always with the dad. And some of the, what I see in life, the disciplinarian was always taken into the masculine energy. And that was the time, that was the era. Today, that doesn't happen. There's a lot of, especially in Gen X, there's a lot of women, such as myself, who stepped up to play both those rules. And sometimes both those rules ended up going, I would never do that to this child. There's no reason in this time of life to treat that child like that. I can't do that. And nor will I. So you get into, different ways of parenting, knowing what you have, knowing the time that was there, and that this doesn't need to happen anymore. Maybe the physical punishments, they kind of ended in the 80s, right? Why are we hitting? Seriously, why are we hitting? Why can't we just take things away? Why can't we understand that when we nurture the child into the first 5 years and we mold them into love, grace, balance, instead of rash, oh, you're pissing me off, get in your room, or, okay, right? Yeah. I remember one of my phrases, my mother always told me when I had my child, one of her, knowing I came from a baby boomer era, right? I came from what was perceived. And so my mother's, when I got pregnant and I had the baby shower, I'll never forget, her first words to me were, don't ever try to discipline your children while you're angry. Walk away and then come back. Her logic, and, seeing a lot of, being in the hospital settings and seeing, she was aware of children with abuse situations where the parent didn't mean something, but it got so mad, you're done. And the energy in which you have in your body, that backhander, that stronger, because now you're angry. You're angry because this child did whatever, broke your favorite piece or colored on your wall or your favorite furniture. And where were you? That you're blaming the child, but where were you? Did you set them up on the TV so that they would be a babysitter? And now the child's coloring on shit. See, there's a lot of things. There's so many different things, but now it's upsetting because it's now personal to you because it's yours. And now your anger. That was such a beautiful, mothering, nurturing moment for me. Never hit your child when you're mad. Never discipline your child when you're mad. Let your child know you can go to your room, and when I'm ready, I'll be in. That is beautiful, right? You need to go to your room. You need to give me my space. I did that a lot with my kids. I wasn't so nice back then. My words probably were, get out of my face. Go to your room, get out of my face when I'm ready. I always took that. I never wanted to be that physical punisher with my children. I wanted them, I felt that there was trust issues, which is why I did trust last week. Sometimes you get pressured as a child into telling a falseness because when you told the truth, you got beat anyway. Remember, we talked about that last week. So I truly believe that my mother's approach, not so much my dad's, but my mom's approach of, I don't even want to talk about this right now. Just, I will deal with this. That was her way of trying, I believe, to process. Now, only her mind could think of what that meant. And maybe sometimes I could get that there. But I truly, in my heart and soul, believe that was her going, I just need my time before, because there was some things as a child. I remember challenging my mother, right? So the mothers get challenged a lot because they're not strong. Oh, well, guess what? You don't realize how strong they are. They just have compassion, trying to allow you to be your individual. They're trying to allow you to become who you want to be and who you are with some guidance. And that's really, really hard. As a mom, it's hard. You have to have stamina. Your health needs to really be good. Those people who help me with my children because of my own ailments from the military, I honor every single one of you. Stepping in to help me with my babies, stepping into just unbelievable. So that's social and nurturing. There you go. There's that social nurturing role that's coming back. It provides that care, that guidance, that support in a mother-like way when the absence of a mother and that energy is not there. Okay, so in many cultures, a mother is also seen as a primary source of love, protection, and early learning for a child. If the father is angry at the child, where does the child go? Behind the mom, right? And the mom becomes the wall. What's going on, right? What is happening? So we have to set these boundaries, right? Or when the dad is irate, we're like pushing him back, going, go cool off, go process somewhere. And then telling the child, keeping that distance. Now there's people like that where they're still physical and the mother is still probably, I don't know for a fact, but I can only imagine if it happened in the 80s and 90s, it's probably still happening today, which is then when the father would attack the mom. So the mom became abused by the father, right? Whether it be through words, emotions, coldness, cold shoulders, not talkative, sometimes physical. How dare you do that in front of that child, blah, blah, blah. The child is absorbing this. So parents, mindfulness, right? Moms, way to go. Put that armor on. But we also have to understand we're choosing a being in our life that is the baby's dad. Now, okay, how do we stop that pressure, right? That mother's role is very complicated. Then they have to make decisions. Do I leave? Do I stay? Is it a learned process and event? Will it get better? Right? There used to be a lot of shame in divorce back when I was a kid. So a lot of people didn't have divorce. They just lived with it, which was why I think child abuse was very rapid instead of just separating, right? Myself, I don't appreciate you hitting our child. I'm gone. That was one of the biggest reasons. I didn't like it. I understand that's what where it came from. I understand that's what Trinidad still does. I understand. No, I'm not doing it. I couldn't do it. So this, I could go. There's different levels for moms. So when we think, when we think of like famous moms, maybe renowned moms, like renowned mothers of the past, are like, who does a personification of that energy? Who do we, some people, if you're Christian, you'll be, oh, Mother Mary, right? Mother Mary, Mother Mary. Yeah, she was probably the most divine, ornate mother. Denominations in theology tells us that mothers reincarnate into, for instance, they say that St. Lucia, Isis, and Mother Mary are all one of the same. It's kind of like in Hindus where you have Brahma, Rama, right? But they reincarnate into these people. There's people like the Christians who don't believe in reincarnation, that Mother Mary is Mother Mary. Okay, right? I personally, one of my favorite mothers is Wan Yin. Wan Yin, to me, is one of the most beautiful Buddhistas that you could ever. Now, when they deitized her, right? They deitized her. Now she became a man. When they deitized her in Hindu, we don't understand sometimes in Buddhistas why they did what they did way back when, but it doesn't really matter. The problem is not the problem. The ideologies is how we absorb and how we look at a mother figure. That's the whole premise here. So anyway, and like her story of Wan Yin, why I like her and why she's one of my guides and one of my many, and Mother Mary is one of mine as well. I have like 4 beautiful mothers. If I actually count my bone mothers, I probably have 5 or 6 beautiful mother energies now that I never had before. And I love those energies and I pray to them to give me that guidance and in this lifetime. So, but her story is very energetic. It's very appealing, heartwarming, service to other, warrior type, giving feed to those who are starving, and just that soul compassion. So if your heart is drawn toward compassion, there's that word, compassion, mercy, wisdom, nurturing spiritual strength, like a Wan Yin figure. There are so many revered mother figures across the cultures, denominations, spiritual traditions, religions, that who carry like a beautiful, similar energy in different forms. Some of the most looked upon mothers throughout history and spirituality include Mother Mary. She is beautiful, often associated with unconditional love. I mean, think about Mother Mary. She was impregnated. She didn't even have a relation or what does Sheldon Cooper call it? Sexual intercourse. He calls it coitus, right? She didn't have coitus. She just got pregnant. So that unconditional love for the child, right, had to be there. The grace, the gentleness, sorrow, endurance, and sacred motherhood. Many feel a comfort and protection through her presence. As far as a physical one may be more, who could actually, for the physical side, would be a Mother Teresa, right? Mother Teresa, everybody knows she walked the grounds. Mother Mary walked the grounds, but because we can associate it through our visualness of her being here, right, due to egos and judgments and our cognitive process of our beautiful brain, Mother Teresa is more like, oh my gosh, well, there's a picture of her. There's what she was doing. This is what she did. There's videos. So this one's more to believe of that mother figure known for serving the poor and the sick with her deep compassions and her humility and always grace, right? Her life became a symbol of just selfless service to others, just knowing that God would protect her from being sick as loud as he helped to heal those. So that was beautiful. And Wan Yin, just in a different spelling. So Wan Yin is in a lot of Asian cultures, just in a different spelling. And the hear of the cries of the world. So Kuan Yin, not the Q, but the Kuan is the hear, listening for the cries of the world, representing mercy, healing, and compassionate listening. Do you see the word compassionate keep coming up? And sometimes I don't even write it in there when I Google something and it's there. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the word compassion. So I'll use the word compassion. It is reminding me of having that compassion, reminding me to be mindful of my words, reminding me to be kind, reminding me not to belittle somebody's actions, reminding me that's compassion. Having just that overwhelming no, that overwhelming no. And of course, then there's Isis, revered as the divine mother, the healer, the protector, and the restorer of all that is. She symbolizes sacred feminine wisdom and the sacred feminine resurrection. That is her course of action. Then we have Tara, green Tara and white Tara, who embody protection. This mother, Tara, is healing and enlightened in compassion. Then we go to Sophia. Some people say about Sophia I. At one point in my journey of my spiritual walk and of my healing, I got my one eye stayed green and my other eye turned completely brown. I had a green, there's a picture somewhere on my Facebooks or whatever, and it was called Sophia I became very attached to Miss Sophia. So in Sophia, when I talk about Miss Sophia and having that Sophia I energy and that experience that I went through, that it's not always portrayed as a literal mother, though that often connected the divine feminine wisdom in creation. It was creativity and imagination of that process. So for that, I put her in one of my mothers today. My next mother was Gaia. So Mother Gaia, Mother Earth. Some people call Mother Earth. Some people call it Jerusa. Some people call her Pachamama. But Mother Gaia, Gaia is considered the great mother of life in itself. It represents earth, and it represents fertility, and it represents that creation that all that is. That is Mother Gaia. She's very special. And of course, we have Yamaya, the beautiful mother of the oceans, honoring her as the nurturer, nurturing our oceans and bringing the oceans back into beauty, into life, protector of women and children and all emotional healers. So the beautiful mother of Yamaya, who protects all of our waters. When you see the waters now, you can maybe go, oh, the beautiful Yamaya for the creation, and protecting of these beautiful waters. And then we have Andanamiya Ma. That she is extremely ancient, and many experienced her as a living embodiment of divine motherly presence and peace. It is, there is no pictures. It is just an energy such as God, and it is a feminine or a mother energy, the Anadianami Ma. So that is another one. And then, of course, I love Saint Anne. Saint Anne often is seen as the grandmotherly, the protector, the teacher, and the sacred family of wisdom. So Saint Anne brings us the ancientness, the vintage, the women's of how to be poised. And that's when I see Saint Anne within my realm. Saint Anne does that for me. So what is beautiful is that across nearly every culture of that humanity exists, there was a renowned mother figure or a figure in which we call upon today. I don't know who your angels, who you pray to, or your master guides, but some of these beautiful women I have in my prayers on a daily basis, asking for their assistance, right? When we ask angels or we ask God or we ask, so we ask feminine as well as masculine. And this is where it embodies, because it has that humanity that is just continually, that returns into like the image of a compassionate mother. Is this trying to tell me something? A compassionate mother. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe that's why I had to learn compassion now. Maybe the military side of me was so stone-faced in those early adultness that I hadn't been able to strip that off. So for this, see how it connects, these little trivets connect. So not merely as someone who gives just the birth, rather than the energy that confronts all of it, even as feminine as a teacher, forgiveness, a nurture, nourishing, protecting, all that helps the soul to grow and mature within its journey. And that is just so beautiful, so beautiful. And then you can also go that the connection, like my connection to Wan Yin, it just may resonate because her energy speaks through gentleness instead of force. Some of these women are very forceful. Look at Athena, forceful, right? Isis, forceful, powerful. St. Lucia, powerful. Luna, powerful. Lilith, powerful. Powerful bone mothers. Santa Muerta is even a bigger one. Very powerful. So many people feel deeply moved by figures who embody more compassion without judgment and more on a learning and assistance of service to others. Maybe that's why I grounded to her, because my existence is service to others. And in this year, I'm finding my compassion. And it's funny how it keeps coming through every time I turn around, it keeps coming through. So compassion is just often deeply associated with mothers. It is. All of those had compassion. I mean, as I'm going through them, the word compassion, and most of the time when I get somebody's name, like a deity, I don't use my own. I use what they write, you know, when you look up in the books or you look up in something. And when I kept realizing the word compassion was in there, I knew I had to do the show. I knew that I had to wait and do the review of my second year. I needed to do this. It was more of a need of my heart to allow expression of motherly values, motherly virtues, the compassions, the love, the unconditional love. So many times as a mother, of course, right? You always say, oh my God, the mother killed their child. And you're in devastation. As a mother who had a massive child who either had colic, who wouldn't sleep, who just was always doing something wrong, like a child who needed more mothering. As a mother, some of us went, oh my God, no. And then they ended up killing the child. So not that you condone it, you can understand it. And that's where compassion. I understand what they did was wrong. I understand that they're going to get punished. They took a life. How could they? If anybody has stood with a screaming child with colic, illness, frustration, sleep deprivation, hormonal imbalance, you can actually understand it. Not condone it, but you can understand how that energy just overtook that poor mother. Did she have help? Did she have assistance? Were people around her? My family, I love my family. My mom, my sister, when there was a child born, we were all present. When my children had children, when her children had children, I can't speak for that. When my children had children, we were all there. There's a lot of rules now. After how many millennia, now there's rules. So sometimes it's unfortunate now that these 20 and 30-year-olds having babies, you know, the hospitals now make all these demands that you have to be inoculated. You can't have this. And you can't. That's on them, right? I don't believe in it, but that's on them. And that's sad because it minimizes the help that mother's going to get. And I felt my mother's last words to me when she left Miami, when my daughter was born after Hurricane Andrew. She's like, I don't feel you're going to have much help. God bless you. If it gets too much, you come to Pennsylvania. I'll never forget that. That was then. I don't know what's happening today, but I wouldn't give that up for the world. Maybe they don't know what they didn't have. Maybe they don't know what they didn't miss. But I'm not willing to conform to put anything in my body because a child was born. I'm not willing. Even if it was my own daughter, I'm not willing to do that. I don't believe in it. I believe that's nonsense of the big pharma. I believe it's a moneymaker. If you think about how many people there are in the world, and the defense was 15,000 babies died. 15,000. All right. I don't know. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for showing me compassion. Thank you for showing me what I have to process. As a mother, do I stand up and take that? I always say as a mother, I'd take a bullet for him. I'd punch somebody in the head for him. but it was not unnecessary. It's not unnecessary. So I have to weigh out what is necessary and what isn't, right? That's a mother. What is necessary and what isn't, without being bulldozed or being shoved or being pushed or conforming just because. Sometimes I believe that when we conform, it's not that you're giving in, it's that you haven't learned to stand your ground. You haven't learned your boundaries. And mothers do this very well. Mothers understand, yes, no, it's not happening, no. And if she even thinks that you're going to go do something, she'll confront, and she'll even, that mother will be right there. The intuitiveness of a mother. We got to take a break. I get rambling. I know it's bad. I get rambling. So I have to take a break. We're going to play that next song like we did before. Again, it's like about 2 minutes, and then we'll be right back, and we're going to continue with Mama. See you soon.
Peace, love, light. Let your soul rise.
Wake up, beautiful child of the sun. Your journey of truth has already begun.
Thoughts are the seeds, so plant them kind.
The garden of heaven lives in your mind.
Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eye sight. Tune into the light.
MJ whispers in waves of sound.
Messages rising from sacred ground. Words like incense drift through the air. You are divine, be fully aware. Tune into the light, let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eye sight. Tune into the light.
Your thoughts are keys. Your breath is prayer. You are the healer you've been waiting for.
Tune into the light. Let your spirit sing. Feel the love in everything. Vibes are high, the veil is thin. The universe is pulsing within. Open hearts and third eye sight. Tune into the light. Tune in, shine on. You're already home.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to the light. We're going to be back into the light. Okay, we're talking about mom. Mom, are you my mom? Who is my mom? Where did my mom come from? So we're talking about compassion. That is one of the biggest things with mom energy is compassion. And it's deeply associated with mothers because motherhood at its core is connected to nurturing that life, nurturing from the time it was conceived until it's born, still nurturing, protecting its vulnerability and responding in the needs of other beings and across history. across history. We gave you a list of mother figures, spiritually, psychologically, and even biologically. The maternal role has always been tied to caregiving and emotional attunement. So a mother often learns to sense our pain before we can even say something about our pain, our heart broken, or we're no longer friends. Think about our elementary days and stuff. She always sensed your pain. How was school today? Are you okay? Right? She always has that intuitive, what's going on with my baby, right? The comfort without needing solutions. It is just, she'll give you that comfort without even knowing that you're going to be on the road with a solution coming next. But her arms are that comfort, right? That protect while allowing that growth. Understanding they have to grow and mature into who they want to be and who they feel they need to be, with guidance by the parent going, you sure about that? How about we think about this, right? That's a mother. Ask the questions. Forgive while teaching. I understand you probably didn't know this. So this is why we grow the way we do, right? And then the remain present through the struggle. I'm going to pray for you. I understand it's a struggle, but I know that you're powerful enough. I know that you're strong enough. I know that you're smart enough. I know that you can do this. Don't lose yourself. Keep going. That's a great, there's that mother pushing and pushing, the motivation, right? So that repeat act of caring just creates a bigger, brighter energy that many people experience as a calming state, a safe state, a more grounding state. And then that compassion becomes resounding because it meets a human need that every soul understands. The desire to feel seen, the desire to be accepted, and the desire to be cared for. There isn't a human being that doesn't want those three things in their life. It's also comforting because compassion softens fear. If we could all become compassionate, softness would arise. This huge rigidness would become softer. When someone feels compassion for somebody from another person, that nervous system often reflexes. We're breathing, we feel the heart. Judgment creates tension. And we're closed in with that judgment. We don't have this. Compassion creates the openness. Look at me. I don't care if you judge me. Who are you to judge? Look in the mirror. Like that. This is why so many spiritual traditions place compassionate mother figures at the center of all healing and of all devotions. We don't need the kick in the ass. Are you dead? Then you better get up and go. So it's a balance. I needed that father figure, but I also needed the mother to say, here, let me heal you. Let me get you to the doctor. Let me see what's going on here, right? Yeah. There's a difference, but there's a reason for the difference. It's a balance, and we have to balance. So we have to be aware of what one energy brings and what the other one brings. So I love that May and June I'm going to do the show on dads too. So stay tuned for that one. But anyway, spiritually, any traditions viewing the divine mother, right? We talk about divine mother. There's so many religions that call their Mother Mary or their One Yin or their Oriah or their Isis or whoever, right? Whatever, the Bovistas, right? So they're divine mothers as the bridge between human suffering and the unconditional love that they bring. So figures like One Yen and Mother Mary are very revered because they symbolize just that mercy, that divine mercy that happens without condemnation. For a lot of people, it's the condemnation that really sets the downward spiral. But these two beautiful ladies with mercy without condemnation, that people are drawn to that beautiful energy. Especially I was drawn to it because it feels emotionally safe. You lived through it. You survived it. The humiliation, the torment, the anguish, the frustration, right? They did all the lower levels and they rose above it because of their compassion. But at the same time, compassion is not exclusive just to women or mothers, right? So many fathers, grandparents, teachers, healers, and spiritual leaders, they all embody some profound compassion as well. Are they really like, have you ever gone to a psychiatrist or a counselor or somebody and without wanting to heal you, they're just like, what? Are you nuts? Why did you say that? That's not compassion and nurturing. That is, wow, I understand that's the path that you took. How about we come out of that path and we go behind door number 3, right? Let's kind of move the radials here and let's go on to door number 3. Life's not all and end all because we chose a path that maybe we had to learn something that was very devastating. You didn't die. So pick yourself up, go again. Let's go on door number 3, right? Because door number 3 might just have what we're looking for. That maternal archetype just simply became one, right? Became one of humanity's strongest symbols because most people first encounter nurturing and emotional regulation through a mother. When the mother has the baby, what's the first thing they do with that baby? They put it on the mother's chest to suckle, right? They want it flesh to flesh. They want the heartbeat. The child knows the heartbeat was just by it. It wants that heartbeat to feel safe. Oh my God, you just brought me out from I don't know what, and I need to feel safe. That's that nurture. That's that compassion. That's that mother. I'm putting this baby on your chest. Speak to that child. That child has heard you for 9 months speaking. Speak loving words. I love you. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this life. Thank you for letting me be my mother, to be a mother. I have the tools, right? This is energies going forward. This is beautiful energy going forward. And it's all about the nurturing and it's the emotional regulation through a mother and a mother figure. In many ways, compassion just teaches us how to trust life again. And your mother allows you to trust that life again when we start to question. And it is that question. So when we have these debacles, that's the next phase, right? So we have these debacles. So what is that main energy cycle between daughters and mothers that go through for a lifetime? Like, I can tell you, I had cycles. It wasn't like, when I look at my mom and my sister just tend to be a beautiful, just hill climb, right? But when I look at myself with my mom and with my dad, I was like a zigzag. I was like this. I was like, wait, because my masculine energy that I had a lot of as a child, my dad was the sports person. But yet my feminine energy that wanted to be the cheerleader or wanted to be in the band or wanted to be in the choir, right? Or I wanted to go to Girl Scouts. There's my mom. She was right there. So it was such a beautiful balance. I almost sometimes my compassion and sadness for when I hear somebody who is an adult and didn't have a balance of a parent, or they had a disassociation with a parent that they can't. I hear it. I counsel them. I can't stand my mom. It drives me. It just takes a heart. I remember one day saying, I don't know where we were at the moment, but I remember being a younger adult and having a conversation, and like I would definitely go with dad, not mom. I don't know why we were having the conversation because it wasn't even meant to be a good conversation, but the conversation was there. Why? Because I felt that there was other torments as a child that I couldn't understand. I had to heal those things. We all have them. Your mom does the best that they can. I did the best that I can, right? Again, you don't come with a booklet. so it's kind of like, what would Jesus do kind of thing, or what would my mom do? And so we have to honor the good with the bad. If it wasn't for the good, we wouldn't have the love, the deep love and the compassion that we have today. Because that energy cycle between a mom and daughter often moves with seasons throughout life. Well, every relationship is very unique in its own way. Many follow very similar emotional and spiritual patterns of that bonding, that nurturing, or that bonding of a mom and daughter. Whether separation, mirroring, healing, even eventually just deeper understanding. Yeah, it's deep. And you need to go there. All of us. I'm going to say you should. I think you need to. We all need. We all have needs. I think we need to. I don't know if that's a good word either. It's not like should. Should's a demand. We'll just leave that one up. Sooner or later, I think one of my masters who will listen to this, they'll go, need, should. I don't know. It's a good one to discuss. It's compassion that I see need. Yeah. So anyway, a common cycle looks like this. The first cycle that a mother-daughter combination goes through, I call it the attachment and protection side, right? It's early childhood. And my nose is running, excuse me. And so the daughter often sees her mom as safety, as comfort, as guidance, right? So the mother pours all her energy into nurturing, teaching, protecting, and emotional regulating the child. How many people out there going, So I'm going to be honest. I was the third one, right? One's a boy, one's a girl, $1 million family, freak. What is this thing? What is this turn here coming in? How did we get pregnant again in less than 2 years? How? Right? So it becomes one of those obstacles that a mother has to overcome. Even if a mother has two, she put all this, look at all this energy I just told you. And now she's like, I have to do it again. But now the child is different. This child isn't the same child. This child has a different energy. What is happening? Right? Poor moms, poor mothers in this world going, they're just not, they're just so different. Yeah, we all are. We all are different. But this stage usually deeply bonds that energetic pattern with mom. The daughter absorbs that emotional pattern. The mother instinct. Remember, this is mom-daughter. Now, we're not to mom-son yet. So this is mom-daughter. The mother instinctively senses the needs of her daughter as a woman energy in herself. And she also trusts the trust forms from that grounding foundation that she built. Right? So now we go into the second level, which is the identity and the differentiating of that adolescence, the troubled years. Right? I'm just going to say, Mom, I'm sorry if you're listening. I'm sorry. I know I was a pain in the ass white girl. I know I walked on cliffs and edges and broke my bones and wanted to experience, I guess, what pain was. I had a pain body issue. I don't know, or I didn't have fear. But she gave me that not to have fear. She gave me these beautiful qualities. But as an adolescent, I just sweat off the deep end, right? Why did you think you could walk on a barbed wire fence? Who would have thought you could even think that way? Why would you climb the tree on a tree that's dead and not think the branch would break? Oh, I don't know. You know? My mom had more compassion and just trying to heal me. My dad was like, I planted seeds and you raised blooming idiots. God bless you, Mom. Because identity and differentiating as an adolescent, this is often the most emotional, intense phase of a mother. The daughter always begins with, who am I outside my mother? What beliefs am I going to have? I don't like her beliefs. And what boundaries do I need? Because the boundaries that she said are just not for me. This is the beautiful adolescence, right? So the energy may shift into rebellion, emotional distancing, comparisons, right? Well, you did for them, you didn't do for me. Well, they got that and I didn't. How come she got that and I didn't get that? A comparison thing where it just hits the parent in the gut going, oh my God, I understand she only got 2 gifts and she got 10 gifts, but you had a limit, right? Santa has a limit. $300 is the limit. And you wanted these 2, which unfortunately you just used up your budget, but this one had 10. Comparisons. They're out there. I laugh now, but they're not funny. This is an emotional distraught time when this rebellious and this emotional distance and this comparison and these misunderstandings and a power struggle. And it's all our egos and judgment. by our peers, by our society. This is where the child starts developing subliminal patterns, subliminal impressions by others. This is this time frame. Now we have to distinguish. And now the mother is going, I did not teach you that. Where the hell did you learn that? I didn't teach that. Well, that must have been your dad. Blame the other one, right? No, I'm only kidding. It's man. Man goes through these cycles. So poor mom is like, where is this coming from? Spiritually and psychologically, this phase is natural. It is a natural persona to develop the individual that needs to be either directed, shifted, coned into, right? We're grooming them to be a responsible adult. I told you my story of my friend. We're grooming and we're grooming. And we understand it's a constant struggle. You sound like a broken record. No, 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 no. Did I say no, 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 no? Because no, no, no. You could just have a recorder, and the recorder would be very sufficient at that time. So anyway, we're not going to do that, but I can understand it. So the spiritually and psychologically, this phase is natural, and the soul is learning individuality, creativity, imagination, trust, understanding, all the mind power centers. And they're sitting there learning these things. So many mothers feel grief during this time here because the child who once needed them begins pulling away. They don't need them anymore. They're like, Mom, I got it. Mom, stop. Mom, it's not the 60s or it's not the 50s. I can dress the way I want. Many daughters feel that misunderstanding, that misunderstoodness, because they are trying to become themselves. One of my adolescents, my grandparents always came to everything. My mom and my dad, when they could, because they were working. That as a child hurt me to no end. Hurt me because they did it for my older siblings, but by the time they hit me, they went their own way. And it was like a stake. And damn it, as a mother, if I didn't have to work to support my children and I missed some of their things. Acknowledging the awareness of that compassion. Acknowledging the awareness that the mother or the father had to go to work and they couldn't see the daughter do X, Y, and Z because work demanded them to. That was a major healing for me. I was very emotionally upset with that. I had to understand it. Well, they always say that once something happens, we'll see the other side of it. How are you going to perceive that? How are you going to take that? How are you going to deal with it? So before we judge another, judge ourselves. Because you're starting to judge somebody, it's going to play in your factor, right? It's going to be here. Like, I happen to get 2 hole-in-ones, right? And it's like, it's Mother's Day, implying mom needs to win, right? So we're pushing energy. Mom needs to win. And I'm like, well, do I scratch on purpose? What do I do? I'm like, I can't. I have that competitive nature. But that competitive nature is also my mom. So maybe I hadn't let go of it. I don't know. Either way it was, right? It was a good time. Because when I said, oh my God, she will clobber me if I have another hole-in-one. And as soon as I said that and I hit, it went out over this putt-putt thing. I was like, there it is, right? Don't you dare. I always felt like that was my dad going, nah, whatever. Now I can laugh. But some of these struggles, they weren't a laugh at the time. And they weren't a laugh in my early adulthoods, my early 20s and my early 30s. They were not laughable. They were tearable. They were hurtful. Because the child of that nurture, the mother doing the job, the child couldn't even comprehend. Your cognitive, your fallopian, or not fallopian, your whatever this is, your frontal lobes aren't even developed in a female until about 26, 27. So this is a very hard time, a very, very hard time. I think that's why they developed the college and master's, so that the child can get in trouble with everybody else and then make a phone call home and then have the mom say, do I need to come? Do you need me? Do you want me to be up there? An excuse to why to come and nurture the child again. because the intuitiveness of the mother is feeling the pressure, the pain. So that grief always comes out. And many daughters feel misunderstood because they're trying to become themselves, and the mother, it's not quite the mother's image, and they don't want it, right? Especially in that time, there was a shame. Look at your child. So the parents got blamed because of the child. Now, I believe that some can be true boundaries and having that path, being guided with nurturing and compassion and establishing boundaries and rules and societal whatever. I get it. But how can you blame I look at some things and I'm like, I didn't do that. Why would they do that? Right? And it's my own siblings. But I didn't do it. They did it. Well, back to philosophy. Every individual born is their own individual path and their own individual healings and their own individual experience. Maybe they wanted to have the experiences as a child where they knew they had strong parents to get them where they needed to be and not falter into that big rabbit hole. It's plausible. Everything is plausible. So let me go to the next one, reflections and mirroring. It's the young adulthood. As a daughter matures, she often begins noticing traits she inherited, wounds passed through the generations, strengths that she once overlooked, and emotional patterns that keep repeating unconsciously. So at this stage, we become aware. If we actually pause, we become aware. So if you're in your adulthood, your young adulthood, you're becoming aware that, wait a minute, I like the taste of this because my mom showed me. Or I like to smell this because my mom showed me. Or I like to plant this flower because my mom showed me. Or I like to, I'm going to clean this way because my mom showed me. Right. This stage can bring compassion. Conflicts? Yep. Major. Because if we're not going to do what mom showed me because there's a better way now, maybe the mom is like, that's not how we did it. Okay, I understand. But this is something a little bit new. And even that evolving of a parent stepping into the next generations, that's very difficult. I'm finding that right now where my mother, I couldn't see my own children when I was my children's age with my mom and I was doing things and my mom would go and pay the cautionary flag. Hey, what are you doing? Well, mom, they don't do it this way anymore. This is what they do. And it was always a but back then. But mom, you don't understand. But mom, you don't, mom, right? My mom, I know she's probably, when she sees it, she'll be giggling going, oh my God. the arguments, right? Always trying to come back to the stage that brings compassion, conflict, forgiveness, and an awakening. Many daughters realize I understand my mother differently now. I see her in a different light. I understand her in a different light. My mature brain is now going, oh my God, what did I do? You know? And many mothers bring releasing that control and shifting toward witnessing rather than directing it. They just stand there like the wall, that beautiful, beautiful wall to allow you whatever. And they just stand there with a smile and love, with compassion. Oh, well, I'm sorry that's happening to you. What do you think, and it's then the questions. What do you think your journey is going to look like now? What steps are you going to take? Do you have anything in the future? And it's just question upon question, not directing the show, allowing them, but playing the witness of them making that journey, that struggle. So as a mother, not to just ask the questions, but don't tell them. That's hard. And that's a really good mom, that mother that begins the releasing of those apron strings of that control is no more, right? It's now your journey. I'm here for whatever I can help and assist you do without judgment, without ego. Yeah. So then we get down into healing and recreation, or reconciliation. This is a very mature adult. So this is the stage that often softens a relationship, right? You often realize that both may begin seeing each other, not just as a mother-daughter, though it's women, human women, feminine souls carrying experiences, wounds, dreams, and sacrifices, learning the mother stories that now the daughter is now as a mother going through. The mother can go, well, I don't know what you're going to do today, but this is how we handled this. We didn't have all this AI, IT, social media stuff. And they don't know how. They really don't. I don't know how to, my philosophy is get off of it. It's needless. There's no why. Write in a journal if you want people, if you want somebody to know your business, they can read your journal. Write a book. But everyday life, I used social media. I thought it was the best thing in the world when it came out, and when I started, like in 2007. I was like, oh my God, I have been away from home. My friends, my family's in Pennsylvania. They're always like, what's Mary Jo doing? They'll ask my mom or whatever. Then I found it very comforting to know that I could put stuff up, and my old teachers and my coaches. And I was so happy. But then it turned ugly. I don't know what year, but all of a sudden it just turned radical. It turned upsetting. People were posting ugly things, trying to hack you. Then it just turned ugly. What do we do? I don't know. But these are the discussions as a mature child, as a mature daughter to the mother. Where is this? Honest conversations happen. Generalizing healing can occur. Compassion deepens, and emotional roles sometimes now reverse. When your mother starts aging and doesn't have the strength to do things, we start helping. We start our compassion towards our mother, not the mother's compassion towards the daughter. That compassion starts looking, going, Mommy, here, why don't you come up for the weekend? Mommy, let me help you. Mommy, let me do this. Mommy, I'm going to do this. How about, Christmas gifts starts to be utility bills for the year, or house cleaning. Let somebody clean my mom's house. Don't let her do that. Like, it becomes different, where that daughter may start that nurturing of the mother emotionally and physically and don't even realize it. And then lastly, one of the hiccups, not the hiccups, but the lifespans of mother-daughters is the legacy and the spiritual continuation. Later in life, many mother-daughter relations become very deeply spiritual. And daughters may carry traditions with them, the wisdoms of their mother, additional teachings of my sister. I never got it, but my sister, the knitting from my grandmother to my mother, she loves knitting and crochet and sewing. Like, that side of my mother, she just exploded. She's still today. I'd be lucky if I could sew a button on. I was taught. I'm sure I could, because I was taught. I was taught every freaking thing that my sister and my brother were taught. However, I didn't take that in. I'm in awe when I watch them. I'm in awe that they are that talented. I don't know if it's me who I have this pessimism of getting it done. So I went to build my granddaughter a blanket, one of those finger blankets that you kind of just loop. And I got carried away. I was like, I have to finish. I couldn't put it down. Everywhere I went, even if I was doing healing lessons, and I'm still sitting there on the floor with this blanket. This ginormous baby blanket, it was 2 twin beds. It was so long. I understand for any mom out there. I understand sometimes we just didn't get the knack or the gifts, and it's okay, because then we got other ones that we contribute. Yes. So the daughter, like I said, traditions, wisdoms, emotional teachings, or healing lessons that are just process moving forward. Even after the physical passes away, many people feel the energetic bond that still continues through memory, through intuition, through our dreams, our behaviors, and our loved ones. We love seeing them, cardinals, butterflies, dimes from heaven, pennies from heaven. We, as humans, keep that memory alive. We keep that physical compassion deep within our heart space, deep within our mind space. So what makes mother and daughter energy especially powerful is that daughters often unconsciously mirror the unresolved emotions, strengths, fears, and wisdoms of the maternal line. So this can create profound closeness. Tough, also, because there's intense triggers that embody us. But the relationship frequently becomes one of humanity's deepest opportunities for growth, compassion, and generational healing. How many people, it's been how many years, and they're still posting my mother in heaven, my father in heaven. The memory, the missing space of our loving, our compassion during a day that's honoring, and ours are already gone, right? So look at your mom who's alive, and she's like, I wish my mom was here. I miss my mom, right? We go to the graveyards, and my mom would say, I miss my mom. I miss my mom. It is the teachings, it's those nurturings that actually embody us. The healthiest cycles are just, it's not a perfect relationship, and they're the healthiest ones. When you have a non-perfect relationship with your mother, they're perfect. Not a dysfunctional relationship. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this, not everything's perfect. It wasn't a beautiful line of perfectness, right? These are the relationships where both people eventually learn to see each other clearly, how they think, how they tick, to allow the individuality to be there without judgment. And then to choose compassion alongside of truth. That's their truth. That is their truth. I'm not going to sit here and argue somebody else's truth, right? So when anger or hatred or complete disillusion of a parent comes in, especially a mother, it is healing anger, and its resentment or hatred toward a mother is often a deep emotional and spiritual journey that needs to be taken. In tradition, in many traditions, the mother wound affects how a person experiences safety, trust, nurturing, self-worth, receiving love, and even connection to the feminine within themselves without emasculating a son. Now, I understand we're talking mother-daughters here, but I want that to be very clear, right? So from an energetic perspective of those who hate their mother, loathe their mother, don't associate with their mother, whatever issues that they have that we just went through, it's an energetic perspective. And people often associate this particular wound with imbalances in the root chakra, safety, belonging, stability. If you have any of these issues, your root chakra with your mother is where we have issues. Sacral is always a big mother, emotional, feminine energy and relationship. Anytime feminine relationships come in, it's an emotional attachment to mother. It always goes back into our sacral or our womb area where that chakra then becomes off kilter. And then the heart. So root chakra, root, sacral, and heart. These three represent that feminine, nurturing, compassion area. The heart especially is love, compassion, grief, and forgiveness. So many energy practitioners visualize it through, like, if this is X must equal awareness plus compassion plus boundaries plus release, right? They all have to, this energetic has to come together. Healing usually does not mean that pretending painful experiences didn't happen. You can't pretend they didn't happen. You can't sweep them underneath the carpet or underneath the bed or put them in a closet with the rest of the skeletons. It also does not require excusing harmful behavior or unpredicted behavior. True healing often begins by honestly acknowledging what hurt, what was missing, what patterns were inherited, and how those experiences shaped the nervous system and our self-image. So these things of the hurt, the missing, the inherited, the approaching, you have to talk about. You'll have if you don't confront your truths. You have to talk. And yes, there's going to probably be tears or emotions or anger or sadness, because these are all part of healing of an emotion. So if you're going to call your mother out, you better be ready. Because you're not taking your part of why she exploded the way she did or what she did. Take your part, work it out, but don't loathe your mother. Don't hate your mother. For God's sakes, she gave you the air that you breathe. You're here because of her. So that's the biological mother. Some practices people use to rebalance feminine or internal energy It could include grounding your roots. So when your maternal relationships feel very unstable, that body that just remain in survival mode, grounding practices help. Ground, ground, ground. Go out, get outside, take them damn shoes off, put your feet in the grass. Barefoot, walking barefoot in nature regrounds you to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Mother. Breath work, right? Breath work, we always talk about breathing, become center, breathe in, slow movement, consistent routines, salt baths, go into salt density chambers. Meditation focuses on stability and protection. So many healing lessons. We're in light therapy, Reiki. And it takes us into our inner child, and we have to walk the timeline of inner child. The emotions, there are so many tissue boxes going on those classes, but at the end, if you talk to any single one of them, they'll tell you when they did that journey, it was the best thing. It felt like the weight of the world was off their shoulders. It helps. Do it. You're not going to die. People are like, I don't like to get emotional. So you'll be people who say they don't like to do that emotion or go to that emotion, or they don't like to have public display of emotion or cry. That is because you are so locked in your solar plexus with your skeleton doors shut. It is so deep. You will continue. It'll just get stacked. That's what it does. Like a PTSD. It just gets stacked and stacked. Let's keep stacking the event and trauma because we won't release. Okay. That's your choice. Maybe next lifetime. And unfortunately, most of these things that you refuse to unleash, you're going to have to come back and live all over again because you didn't heal it. That's the sad part. So reconnecting to the sacred feminine, many people heal the mother wound by discovering nurturing energy outside the biological relationships. Compassionate mentors. I had a step-in mom in Las Vegas when I was there. Her name was Kathy Mazer. I always tell her she's my Vegas mom. I go to Miami and I had Grandma Chris. When in my earlies from 89, 90 until 97, 98, I had Grandma Chris. Later, when I had my metaphysical, I had Lady Diana, my Mamacita, my Diana. These are motherly figures in my life. And they were compassionate mentors or grandmothers or spiritual people in my life with that compassion, that nurturing, who just wanted the best for me at the moment. Right? Or in all time, creativity, because they're still a part of my life that I call them Mama, or, Mama Kathy or Grandma Chris. These are creativity. These are nurtures. This is nature, music, self-care, any supportive community. This whole nervous system always leans feminine energy that can feel that safe, that compassion, that trust, that love again. And that's how it comes in. So allowing the grief under hatred, there is often grief, right? You have to have the grief in hating somebody. So hating your mother, or that hatred for your mother, if grief for unmet needs or lost innocence, emotional neglects, abandonment, criticisms, for longing of different kind of a mother. I wish I had your mother. I wish my mother was more like yours. I heard it as a child. I felt sorry for them. I used to bring them to my home. They used to live in I would tell my mom, my friend needs to live here. There's something going on. My mom always had enough food in the house for anybody who came over. It was common. We would all have it. There was always extra place settings, extra food. Sit down. Friends, family, whatever. Grief acknowledged tends to soften stagnant emotional energy. Learning compassion with boundaries, right? So compassion does not mean self-sacrifice. Doesn't mean that. Compassion, sometimes healing that compassion includes emotional distancing, clearing out some of these boundaries that were put in place, or accepting limitations in that relationship. Healthy feminine energy includes wisdom and protection, not only softness. Remember that. Powerful women, these mothers, Mother Teresa was a very strong woman. So remothering the self, to heal this anger and resentment, now we have to remother ourselves. And it is a powerful healing practice. And it's learning to give yourself what was not consistently received: encouragement, nourishment, patience, gentleness, emotional validation, rest, and even loving near a dialogue that maybe constantly heard, right? Over time, many people just discover that they are building an inner mother energy within themselves. That's what you're doing. You're learning from your mentor. Your mother is your teacher, your healer, your compassionate maker, your religious practitioner. She is embodying of all of that. So energy practices to help rekindle are some that help support this mother disturbance. You can use Reiki. You can use chakra meditations. Somatic therapy is great. Trauma-informed counseling. So make sure counseling is physical and metaphysical. We already talked about it. Journaling, prayer, sound healing, infrared and frequent therapy, salt. Go into salt density or inner child work. The goal is not perfection. The goal is restoring the flow and the willingness where the pain body then becomes unfrozen and movable. Hatred is often signaled as a part of the soul that has been wounded deeply and longs to be seen, protected, and healed, and ultimately loved. When healing begins, that heavy energy sometimes transforms first into grief, then understanding, and eventually into peace and naturality. Even if reconciliation with the mother never fully opens or happens, reconciliation within oneself still can. I am sorry on my part. Throw that Reiki rainbow ball of healing. Let it come back. If the mother does not respond, it is okay. You did your job. You did your job. Remember that. Okay. So, while every relationship is very unique, many cultures, psychologists, and spiritual traditions recognize that the mother-son bond often carries a different emotional and energetic dynamic than the mother-daughter bond. A mother and son bonds, they're frequently center around protection, admiration, emotional securities, identity formations, and learning how masculine and feminine energies relate, join, bond, and work with one another. That is the mother's job to the son. Where the mother-daughter relationship often involves more mirroring and emotional reflection, mother-son relationships mirrors more commonly exploring balance between nurturing and independence. One of my mom's thing was my son was going to dance. She needed rhythm and balance. It is the only way she knew as a mother to bring in rhythm, music, and dance into my brother. So he played piano and he took dance. Well, it pissed my father off, obviously, dancing. Who would ever heard of a child at 3 years old, a son, dancing? But my mother told my dad, rhythm. My dad later, as a head football coach, had ballet and dancing on his football players for that same reason. The mothers never taught their sons rhythm. So he had to bring in rhythm. My father learned from my mother how many years? Isn't that amazing? It's just amazing. Anyway, a son's first experience of feminine energy is often through his mother or mother figure, though that bond he may learn how to receive love, emotional safety, compassion, trust, and how to relate to women later in life. That same time, that mother learns how to nurture without controlling, how to release overprotection, and how to support individually as that son grows into his own masculine identity. Energetically, that cycle can look very differently. In the early years, the son often speaks in comfort, reassurance, validation with their mothers. It's that deep attachment. But in adolescent, here we go. It's a separation identity. The boys mature, mainly naturally begin creating emotional distance from the established independence that they had as a masculine identity. They don't need that mature. They don't need that emotional support. This can sometimes feel abrupt and painful for mothers. The son who unconsciously may ask, who am I a part of, my mother or my dad? And what kind of man will I be if I actually look like my mom or become my mom? These are troublesome for children in this day and age. So it's respect and understanding in the adulthood with sons, because they have sacrifices that they're making, emotional labor, and they're nurturing that and reshaping themselves. That is that maturity deepens. Many mother-son relationships evolve with a mutual respect that they just kind of, I'm here for you, son. Mothers in turn learn to love without needing to manage or rescue or hold on to their sons, that their sons have that masculine protection energy already. So, and spiritually, some traditions, then that mother-daughter bond, then healing, the healing with the feminine image, while the mother-son bonds, then they often teach that balance between masculine and then feminine energies. Neither bond is stronger. They simply just teach these lessons to help us as their children grow into be a more mature adult figure in society, and not being a discernment for society. So it's always an emotional warmth, healthy boundaries, encouraging of independence, and then the respect of emotional respect. So when balanced, a mother can help a son learn that strength and compassion can coexist with masculine and feminine energies. So then here we are. We're at the very bottom. Mother's Day. Why do we celebrate mothers? Where did it come from? Mother's Day is celebrated to honor love, sacrifice, nurturing, and influence of mothers and mother figures. In the United States, it is observed every year on the second Sunday of May. This year happens to be May the 10th, which was yesterday. And I hope you all honored your mother out there. And so, but the modern holiday began through the efforts of a beautiful woman. Her name was Anna Jarvis, who wanted to honor her mother, Anne Jarvis. Anne Jarvis had spent many years organizing women's groups focused on health, caring for wounded soldiers, because this was in the Civil War days, I'll give you that, friendships between divided families after the Civil War, the Yanks, of course, and the Confederates, and the community's compassion for those injured, no matter what side that they were on. So after her mom passed away in 1905, Anna Jarvis began campaigning for a national day to recognize the importance of mothers. The official observance was held in 1908 at her mother's church in Grafton. White carnations, her mother's favorite flower, became the flower of the day. So for Mother's Day, if you're giving roses, you should be giving white carnations. Just saying out there. Only after a few years, though, nearly every U.S. state recognized the celebration. So in 1914, Woodrow Wilson officially proclaimed Mother's Day a national holiday. So we are over 100 years in celebrating this beautiful tradition. Interestingly enough, Anna Jarvis intended Mother's Day to be deeply personal and spiritual, spending time with one's mother, writing heartfelt letters back and forth to one another, expressing the gratitude and honoring the emotional labor of the motherhood that she endured. She eventually became so upset by how commercialized the holiday became with cards, flowers, and advertising. Later in life, she even tried to stop the holiday from happening. She created because she felt its true meaning was being lost. Long before the modern holiday, ancient cultures also honored maternal and feminine energy through festivals devoted to mother goddesses and fertility figures. In England, there was also something called Mothering Sunday. It was a Christian tradition connected and returning to one's mother's church during Lent. At its heart, Mother's Day became a collective human acknowledgement that nurturing life, guiding children, holding families together, and offering compassion are sacred acts worthy of remembrance and gratitude. Wow. For all you mothers out there, it's tiring, it's exhausting, it's repetitive, and sometimes very unbalanced. You are doing an awesome job. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Hold your heart and your child's heart together. Hug them, love them, show them emotion, show them love, show them balance, show them truth, show them alignment. and you will have some of the most beautiful humans ever. Sometimes we have to give away some of ourselves in order to be that nurturing mother, with the understanding is you've already found yourself, you can come back to once we align that second. So most mothers who are born in this world, I truly believe you are service to others, or you would not have had us. I love you all. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you. Thank you so much for what you teach, for what you continue to show, strength, courage, enjoyment, life, how beautiful life is, how beautiful music is, how beautiful family is, and how beautiful you've created a home to nurture all of us. I am MJ. This is the world of conscious positive thinking right here on mbradio.us. Thank you all for listening. See you next week. Have fun. Enjoy your mom. Observe her on Monday. In fact, give her a whole week of it. Mwah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.